Good evening. Another Thursday. The half year is already here with us. Half the month of July is here with us. And of course, on Tipping Point, we are discussing matters of politics. And tonight, we are discussing Kiambaa constituency and Mogoga ward, where elections or by-elections have been happening the whole day. Right about time, we have Daniel Kariuki, who is in Kiambaa, who's been pitching camp the whole day, and he'll be telling us what is happening on ground. My name is Frederick Mwitiriri. My sign language interpreter is Michael Maithia. And Kariuki, if you can hear us, I can see you. You are sharp the whole day. It's been hard covering both Mogoga and Kiambaa. How has it been for you, the experience in the field today?
When you ask how has it been for me, really Fred, it actually is very cold here. We are freezing. However, we are feeling hot because of the journeys and the movements we've been making here and about across the 154 polling stations here in Kiambaa constituency, where the residents of this particular constituency came out to vote for an MP. Remember, the seat fell vacant after the death of Paul Koinange. As of now, we are here in Karori High School, where the official tallying process is continuing. However, we've just gotten information that the process has just begun, a process that could go till late in the night, till morning maybe, Fred, where we will be able to have the official results of who is the winner. We cannot give the numbers as of now. However, I don't know if you've seen that. We've been seeing chunks and chunks of police officers leaving that side. I don't know if they were expecting any chaos. Maybe they've not seen any chaos and they've chosen to go back. However, it has been a very smooth process in this Kiambaa by-election. Only in one polling station where we got reports of some chaos after Amos Kimunya, the National Assembly Majority Leader, found himself in a form of scuffle with a group of youth who tried to remove him from that area. And after seeking answers, we realized that the scuffle came about when he appeared to that place, and there was also another Jubilee member, and that question was who really is the agent of Jubilee Party, Fred.
And this is what was happening to Amos Kimunya. Let's take a look.
Let me tell you. Amen.
You know, I'm reminded, we are with Nordin here in studio. And Nordin, I'm reminded, before we go back to Kariuki, I'm reminded when Kimunya said that he will not resign. I'd rather die than resign. Are you seeing signs of Kimunya going back and making an exercise that was supposed to be, to be peaceful? Now it looks bad because of a majority leader in parliament?
First and foremost, that chant, Kimunya must go, 10 years down the line, still very relevant. In different scenarios,
yes,
it's very relevant.
Yes.
I believe he iked those supporters of UDA who felt like his presence there was not needed. That's why they were saying he had to leave. Because even if you check his documents that were read out, the polling station where he's supposed to be the agent was empty, blank. So he's been appointed by Jubilee, but the station is vacant.
Yes.
So that was a bad sign, and that was way early in the morning. You see, it's sad that every other time that we have a by-election, we have to have a scaffold, we have to have...
We had it in Nakuru.
Yes.
We had it in Kisii.
We're actually glad today there was no tear gas.
Yes.
But not yet, because it's not over.
It's not over.
Saying, so we should have a habit of people going, they vote, and credible elections happen and results come out. You see, this the moment a politician wants to be there, clearly there's a sign of interference.
Yes.
Because what is the need of you being there if you're not an agent? That would mean maybe you're trying to influence the voters. Because we also saw issues of voter bribery today morning from across the divide.
We'll be talking about voter bribery in a short while. Right now we have Owen Baya, the MP from Kilifi North. Baya, what do you make of today's by-election in especially Kiambaa, where we are seeing some of the members of parliament, your colleagues in parliament, having a hard time dealing with the locals?
Well, thank you very much for joining me. But what I would like to say is this, that Wananchi know what they want. However much a politician would like to interfere with elections, what to a commercial, and that's why you hear the noise that Kimunya must leave. I think people want democracy the way they want it. They don't want democracy the way other people want it. So for me, the two things about Kiambaa. One, that Kiambaa will decide two things: the fate of Jubilee, and secondly, the fate of NASA. Because when Kiambaa is lost by Jubilee, then NASA has lost big time, and therefore it puts the deputy president in a pole position. The rejection of Kimunya in Kiambaa is actually a sure way of telling Jubilee and the people of Kiambaa are tired with Jubilee. That is one aspect. The second aspect is that people want to have free and fair elections without any undue interference from the state. Kimunya in that scaffold represents the state. And the people are saying that we are tired of this state machinery that has been deployed here to come and interfere with Kiambaa and the popular vote of the Wananchi. So Kimunya's ejection is actually people taking their democratic rights in their hands and saying, allow us to do our election, allow us to do to make decisions without interference by the deep state. Actually, Kimunya in that election represents deep state, and I think it was a mistake for Jubilee to deploy Kimunya to go there. Actually, the face of Kimunya is the face of problems, is the face of the many hurdles in life that the people of Kiambaa have gone through. And therefore, I celebrate democracy today when I see the people taking democracy in their hands and saying, no, we do not want this. Thank you very much. Hey,
Owen. All right. Dan, yes. Tell us the situation, because you are on ground. There is a situation of what we used to hear in 2017 of super agents. Was Kimunya a super agent? Because Jubilee allied MPs were saying that Kimunya is an agent. He's supposed to be there. Why is he being told to get out?
You know, Fred, I'll even start with that quick reaction from Nuruddin Kagai when he said that he is happy there wasn't tear gas being deployed here. We are happy there was no tear gas thrown to us. However, on that matter of super agents, I remember the returning officer of this particular election announced yesterday that there won't be super agents in these particular by-elections who've been linked to the chaos that we've been seeing in the previous elections. What happened to Kimunya, according to reports, is that he appeared there, and there was also another Jubilee candidate legislature who claimed to be the agent, and that is why the scuffle occurred. It could be Kenyans who want a peaceful election. It could be a group of angry youth allied to maybe the UDA party. However, it was that chant that had to kick Amos Kimunya out.
Dan, there were allegations of voter bribery during the day. And did you witness anything like that today before they voted? Because I hear some people are being taken from their homes to go and vote, and they were being given something. Did you witness anything like that?
Well, Fred, to be honest, I've spoken to the observer who I was with like 30 minutes ago. He hasn't mentioned that. We have also not witnessed any cases of these allegations. But however, we will be here waiting, and we'll also question the IEBC officials, also the residing officer. We will question him and maybe get the factual answers from them who are in charge. But until then, it's very hard for us to agree to these allegations that this actually occurred. But until you get it from them, Fred, I think we'll be able to confirm it to you.
Coming back to you in a short while. Stay still. We have this discussion. We'll be continuing with this discussion as we continue with this show. But right about time, and Nurdin, let me throw this to you. If UDA wins in Kiamba, especially in Kiamba, Muguga is a little bit lower, but if UDA wins in Kiamba, what does that mean for the president?
That means he has lost the support of his, it will be a confirmation that his support base, that is central or the mountain, is drifting elsewhere. And that will make ODM question the need to have a coalition with such a party. Because if you can't win your own seat, so what importance are you adding to this coalition? That's one thing. The second thing is if he loses that seat, the sad reality is that this election is not about the people. It's between the president and the deputy. So that kickstarts the deputy's campaign. Now he has an extra oomph to go into the mountain. Because now, and you see, wanasema, there's a Swahili saying that says kunzima onekana asubuhi. So for him, he'll see that is okay, confirmation that now UDA is popular. So
Nilikuwa nafikiri utasema ukiona vielea ujue vimeundwa.
Sasa unajua hiyo. He will see that
yes.
Now I have the capacity
yes.
to go for more. So people will now start to position themselves with UDA.
Yes.
And you had the Laikipia women rep or Guru saying the other day that there's a max exodus in Jubilee where she is right now, and that in due time she will discuss where she's going. So UDA is trying to have a base in Central, and if they win today, then that kickstarts the journey, because in the Rift they already have a base. If they get a base in Central, then they move from Central, and that will give the DP the oomph to campaign. That is what he's trying to get.
I know Owen is a firm supporter of the deputy president, and the Kilifi member of parliament, Owen Baya. What if UDA loses today? What does that mean for the party?
All right. The prospect of UDA losing is not there. That is the first thing, because UDA is going to win and win very big in Kiamba and Muguga. But supposing it does, the most important thing is not whether it has lost or not. It is the margin. The margin of a loss is what is very important to us. And what we're looking at, if we lose by 46%, we lose by 47%, we lose by 48%, we still have affirmed our belief that Central Kenya is gone from Uhuru's hands. And that is supposing that happens, but I do not see it happening. But if it happens, I still believe that the margin is very, very important. And that margin may be caused by the deep state and the intimidation and the use of the police and the use of other unorthodox means to win that election. But it won't be there in 2022. And I can tell you the people will have decided. And then again, a by-election, the turnout in a by-election is usually very, very low. And therefore may not determine very much that would happen in 2022. But I can tell you for sure, that we are taking both Muguga and Kiamba, because looking at the mood on the ground, what you saw happen to Amos Kimunya, my friend Amos Kimunya, is actually a sure way of telling you that the people of, because the rejection of Amos Kimunya in that polling station is the rejection of Jubilee. And therefore you can see as the results stream, you see that UDA is taking this seat, and that both seats, Muguga and Kiamba, UDA will win, and will win very, very big and convincingly. And that will tell you that Central Kenya has shifted very, very, very well towards UDA, or towards UDA. But I also want to...
All right, Owen, just for a minute, we'll be back. I'll be coming back to you. Let me throw this to Daniel so that we can release them. They've been there for a long time and they want to follow what is happening inside the hall. And Daniel, I do not know if you are aware what is happening where they are tallying. Can you give us a picture of what is happening there? Who is leading? Might you be having an idea? I know you are outside, but might you be having an idea who is leading?
Well, Fred, I've actually been hearing some of the numbers from this far, That is why we weren't able to do this live interview from that close because of the noise. However, we've been hearing some numbers coming in. We've had some zeros. We've had, what I can tell you is that the UDA and the Jubilee candidate are leading, and the tally, the UDA and Jubilee candidates are on top and are leading. We don't have the, we can't give you actually their exact statistics. So I don't know if you'd allow us, we could go in there after this live interview and begin reporting and taking these numbers so that we report actually and factually to you. Fred.
All right, Dan, we will right about time just tell you, get inside and give us the numbers so that before we leave here, we'll have just an idea of what is happening. Thank you so very much. That is Daniel Kariuki. And by the way, he is our producer on this very show with one Clifford Dumbi. All right, come back to studio. Nurdin, a lot of money has been poured in Kiambaa. What does that mean for next year's general election?
It means that people will eat next general election. What watakula? You see, your money is coming back to you.
Yes.
What I'll tell the people is, pesa wazirambe, lakini they remember who to vote for.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, don't be influenced by a packet of flour, 500 or 400 shillings. Because let's Fred, if I give 500 shillings today for you to vote for me, 5 years, so utakuwa unakula 100 for 5 years. Each year 100 shillings. It doesn't make sense. So we also need to move away from this politics of tokenism.
Yes.
According to me, I believe we need to run back to a situation where we talk about ideas. What do you want? What do you want to come and do?
Do you think we are there, Nurdin?
Not yet. Sadly, we're not yet.
Owen, do you think we are at a place where Kenyans can decide that they want to vote according to the policies that an MP is bringing to them? Because you are an MP and you've seen what your people want. Do they stand for something that they can say, this is what we want and not some money?
No, what I can say is that we are in the probably 3/4 of the continent towards a realization of this country voting on policy and voting in quality leadership and voting on ability to lead and to transform people's lives. We are on a continent and we haven't reached there yet. But I can tell you that Kiambaa will be decided probably on two things: on who pours the most money, and secondly, on a euphoric kind of vote, a rejection of a system. That is what Kiambaa is going to vote. It is also going to vote on the ability of those who were able to mobilize better, not that they were able to go out there and give out policies and go there allowed to give out what they want to do in Kiambaa. And I can tell you it's more of euphoric, and where the euphoria goes, the people go. But I can tell you this country is moving towards that. I have seen the people in my constituency that now they're looking at who has done what kind of development, what you promised have you delivered, and then moving towards that. But I want to repeat, it's still a continent where we are moving towards that. But a majority of people today, voting is on the basis of how much have this candidate given me, has he been there to give me something? Kitu kidogo elections is still there. But I tell you, Kenyans are moving towards a continent where, in that continent, probably in the middle of a quarter of the continent, to
All
say
right.
that probably in future, we can be voting based on policies and based on party lines and based, I think you understand what I'm talking about.
All right, Owen, we'll be coming back to you in a short while. We'll be having Richard Onyonka, that is MP for Kitutu Chache. We have in studio Nurdin Kagai. Talk to us at Switch TV Kenya on Twitter at Fred Mutiriri. We'll be back in a short while. Don't go anywhere. We're taking a short commercial break.
Where's the vote?
And we are back. This is Tipping Point. My name is Frederick Muitiriri. We continue with our conversation tonight. We are talking about Kiambaa by-elections and Mugoga Ward by-elections. We have Daniel Kariuki, who is in Kiambaa right now. We were speaking to him in a short while. And right here in studio, we have Nurdin Kagai, who is a lawyer, also a political commentator. We have Owen Baya, MP, Kilifi North, and Richard Onyonka is joining us in a short while. That is MP Kitutu Chache. Nurdin, starting with you. Yeah. This is what, before we come to you, this is what the court said about IEBC having to prepare for a referendum.
A permanent injunction be and is hereby issued restraining the IEBC from undertaking any processes required under Article 257.4 and 257.5 in respect of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020.
All right, and yesterday, IEBC decided to ask for people to come on board, especially international companies, to, they want the election materials. And part of those election materials is referendum materials. Nurdin, are we preparing for a referendum? Is it possible?
From what we saw yesterday, high chances is yes. But you see, legally, the timelines don't work because we wonder which timelines they're going to use. And because even after, after the judgment, Court of Appeal, there is going to be a movement to the Supreme Court. It's not going to be the end of the road. So you're wondering why are they applying for a referendum? But now you see the sad reality is that there's been this talk of an extension, courtesy of how they would want to move a motion to extend Parliament.
Extension of Parliament.
Yes. Now that
will mean even the government, in essence.
That is where our friends Onyonka and Baya come in, where you either decide to stand with the people or not, you see. So at the end of the day, I believe that the elections need to be held next year. We need to have our elections next year, as the law says. It's in the Constitution. If they wanted otherwise, they would have made sure they change that. But now the sad reality is that we have 5 years, a term is 5 years. And once it expires, you have to go for an election. So IBC, first and foremost, clearly we can tell.
Is IBC ready?
It's not. According to me, it's not ready. Because they have to, even today in Kiambaa, they came to, they were talking about how chiefs should not be at the polling centers. Why are they there in the first place? You realize? So IBC, it's more or less like a toothless dog. Or the teeth are there, but it can't bite. So it needs certain
but Nurdin, I have not heard anyone from Juja or Bonchari or Msambweni complaining about IEBC and the results. They are off. But so it means they did a clean job.
It's not a clean job. If you check every single by-election, there's an issue of bribery. There's an issue of using the state.
But that is that IEBC?
No, listen.
Yeah.
Today, there was no tear gas. But you see, the perpetrators of these actions need to be held accountable, you see. But that doesn't happen. So everyone knows if it happened in Kibra, it can happen elsewhere because no one will be held accountable. Realize? Because we need to come to a place where if you engage in any electoral malpractice, then you should be, if you check the Elections Offences Act, you should be charged. You should be fined. We should even get to a point where you should not be able to stand for an election. That's what you need to get to. But the sad reality is that we know it happened in Kibra, it happened in Juja, it happened. Today, Kiambaa, there is no certain chaos. But who says with the next by-election whether it will happen or not? So the sad reality is that...
Is there so much on IEBC or the security forces?
It's more on the leaders as well. Because you see, there are some who feel like they're above the law. We can do this and nothing will happen to us. Because we also saw, like in Bunchari, the election looked more or less like a police recruitment. Because the officers were even more. You realize?
Even yesterday, so many of them were deployed.
And you see, to some people, to the elderly, for example, they might feel threatened. And you see, according to the law, in the Elections Offences Act, if people are prevented from voting, either through violence or undue influence, that's an illegality. So when you deploy, let's say, for example, too many police people, some people might feel, hey, it might be chaotic out there, they won't vote. You look at the turnout today, it's funny because first and foremost, as a young man, I'm saddened. Because if you look at the number of young people who came to vote, you laugh. So we talk about youth taking up opportunities, youth need to be on the table, but when it comes to vote, they don't even have the voter's card.
Hold still. Owen, Nurdin here is saying that if there will be a proposal from the government or from whichever quarter, members of parliament are going to go with it because they'll have an extension of their service to the parliament. Are you of the opinion that you will agree to, wakisema tusongeshe kidogo na mwaka moja utasema ansawa tuendelee?
No. I think members of parliament live to the democratic tenets that govern the country. One of the things is the extension of parliament means extension. It means extension of the governor's term. The things, and members of parliament are and they are saying no. The possibility of extending parliament is not there. And the members of parliament, I know what it will do to them if they extend. They will have loan free. They will be getting full salary and all that. But again, the Constitution tells us very clearly that an extension can happen if there's an emergency. And you can only extend by once and renewed once. So the possibility of us having an emergency is zero. People have been saying that probably the coronavirus thing could be but if there was an election in Tanzania, there was an election in the United States, there were elections in many other countries. How do you then say that coronavirus is an emergency? It's the possibility of an extension. So the possibility is not there because we do not have an
would you, if somebody told you, or if somebody told you that I'm going to give you 12 months free salary, you're not going to go back to the ballot for 12 months, you clearly are going to say no to this?
Clearly, I would say no. The contravention of the Constitution. We are a constitutional country, and therefore we not should change the people. The people want change. They want to change or affirm that they want this one to continue. And I think the spirit in this country is that you have had people say this very clearly, amalize aende. I think the current Jubilee government just needs to go. People will sacrifice that comfort of 1 extra year or 5 months just because they want this government to finish its term and go.
All right, Owen, I'm being informed that Njuguna John of UDA is leading right now. These are the correct figures from IEBC. As you can see, the votes that have been tallied so far, Wanjiku John Njuguna from UDA is now leading with 609 votes. These are the official figures coming from IEBC, and then followed by Njama Wainaina Karanja Kareri. He is known as Njama Kareri, and he is at second with 352 votes tallied at 36%. Of course, Wanjiku leading at 63%. As we speak, the third person is Geshia Evans Wainaina, who is having 3 votes. Oh my. And then there is Mochugi Isaac Karomo, who had so far has 1 vote. And then there is Ngoge Richard Njoroge, who is having another 1 vote, representing the 3 of them, 0% of the total vote tallied so far. As you can see, these are the pictures coming in from Kiambaa. This is the tallying center. This is 63% of the votes tallied so far, which is representing a very small percentage. Remember, just the Mugoga ward had 18,000 registered voters. So you can imagine Kiambaa with over hundreds of thousand votes. With this, we have a long night ahead of us. And Owen, what does this tell you for your party that you're supporting? UDA, I know you're very happy with these figures.
Yes, I'm excited about it because it shows the direction which the campaign has been taking, the shape that UDA is most likely to take. This is going to win this in the huge margin. But you should add, there's something called the votes that come from nowhere. You understand what I mean? Those people vote.
The Rakanithi votes.
Tarakaniti midnight vote.
We were here in 2007 when we had there is a Tharakanithi that has emerged at night, and it was chaotic. We hope it's not going to be chaotic. You have seen the figures that we are being shown from the Tarling Center.
Yeah.
What does this tell us of what you're going to see in the next? I know this keeps changing, so we cannot say with certainty that this is the final figure. But Nurdin, what does this say about what was happening during the day?
If it ends that way and UDA wins,
Yeah.
first and foremost, we'll never hear the end of it
Yeah.
until 2022. First and foremost. And then secondly,
Yes.
that shows that, they have been saying that they have the ground, they have the people, they have God. So that will be a confirmation. What we want is that the votes that matter actually get counted, that the people speak. You see, the Tarakanit we're talking about here as we joke around
Yes.
should not actually happen, because at the end of the day, the people need a representative that they
True.
feel comfortable with,
Yes.
one that they believed in, and one they want to work for them. So we need our elections. You see, the reason why elections are a matter of do and die.
Yes.
It's because most of the people who get these seats, go there to make money, or it's more or less settling
They're not
scores.
representing the people.
Like
That's what you're telling Owen.
Like right now, it's about settling scores between
The Jubilee and,
and
the DP and the president.
It's not about the people. And
Should
it's
it be that way?
It shouldn't, because at the end of the day, then we lose track of why we need to have an election. You realize, okay, you settle your score. So I'm left with someone who wins and maybe doesn't perform. I'm saying maybe he doesn't perform. So where does that leave me? That means the Kenyan voter also needs to evolve, which hasn't happened. He just said it's a gradual process, but we need to get to a point where we look beyond, this party belongs to this person. Stop voting for parties.
Yes.
Vote for individuals, and that is the only way we'll move forward. It's a gradual process. It will take time. Now, he has just said something about Parliament. If they all think like him, then Parliament has a small chance in redeeming itself, just a little bit, because you see, Kenyans feel that they have betrayed Kenyans for a very long time.
How
and they've failed us.
confident do you think they are in saying that? There might be 2 or 3 who can say like Owen confidently that.
Now let me tell the problem.
Yes.
You see, Owen belongs to a party, right? He thinks differently. That's fine. Belongs to a party, just like any other member of Parliament, except the independent. Now, there's something in politics that we are told in Kenya.
Yes.
Party line, party position, and always it is sung to us: respect the party leader.
Yes.
Now the problem is these members of Parliament.
Yes.
Some of them, or most of them, are susceptible to be panel beaten into a certain
Direction.
Yes, and that becomes the problem. So if that happens, because our parties are owned by individuals, they're not institutions,
Unfortunately.
and that is why they can be called somewhere and go and vote in a certain way. You realize? So unless we move from that and have parties where a member of Parliament, let's say I'm in party X, but I'm allowed to think differently from how some people in the party think, and that's democracy. That is fine. By the sad reality is that when you look at political parties, they derive their policies and politics from the party leader. So if the party leader thinks in a certain hard line, he expects the rest to follow. That's why we have issues of where we're told some are cows. You realize? So we need to move away from that, so that a member of Parliament that I voted for represents me. So if I want something to be done and your leader does not want that, do what I want, because at the end of the day, I am your employer. It's a contract. I employ you, I fire you.
Yes.
And that's where we need to get to. And you see, as Kenyans, we've forgotten the fact that we have delegated power. The power they enjoy, the cars, the bodyguards, the flags, et al., belong to the people.
Yes.
They are delegated.
Yes.
The moment you take back that power is when they will work for you. By the end of the day, if we give them the power and we kneel before them and they don't work for us, we'll always be subjects. And that is why it is called a method of impoverish them so that you use them. So every year,
Yes.
you're impoverished. So when it comes to an election, someone gives you 300 shillings and you feel like they've given you heaven. And we need to move away from that. And that is why, you see, he said people are saying, Malaysia wende. It's true. Because people, one, some are angry, some are hungry. You know, a hungry man is an angry man. So at the end of the day, we need to make wise decisions going forward.
Owen, there's this question that we've fought with for, I think I saw it in 2013. I saw it in the 2017 general election. I saw it in the repeat, where we keep saying that IEBC cannot be able to conduct elections. However, we have seen, and I have not seen anyone complaining from Sambweni. I have not seen anyone saying that IEBC did not conduct itself the right way in Juja, in Bonchari. What is wrong with IEBC? Can you trace anything, or is it the parties are the problem and not the IEBC?
What I want to tell you is there is nothing wrong with IEBC. What we have is that we try to politicize IEBC, especially when we lose. And the party that loses would want to explain their loss and justify how they lost, and therefore take the easiest route. The easiest route is for you, if you lose a football match, and you blame the referee for your loss, not for your abilities or your inabilities. And I think that is the problem. IEBC, there are very many people in parliament, almost all people in parliament, including the president and even the people in opposition, owe it to IEBC that they are in those positions. But they have not said, you see, I was elected a member of parliament by a body called IEBC, which is not transparent, which did not follow the law. And therefore, because of that, I am quitting my position to go because I'm protesting against IEBC. People still stick to their seats. And then they go on the other side and say that IEBC played fall. But I think IEBC has done its job. I have full confidence in IEBC myself, that if given the opportunity, they can do their job. Secondly, if you look at what happened in Msambweni and Bonchari, and even the seat in Western Kenya, when there were the by-elections, you could see IEBC was ready, really ready to do its job. But you can see politicians and the state machinery, the police came in to try to interfere with probably fair elections that IEBC was conducting. If you look at what happened in Msambweni, the police came in to disrupt. The deep state, or what you call the people who were losing, they came in to try to disrupt the voting pattern, or the peaceful vote that was there. And then they want to blame it on IEBC. But I want to say, for the record, that IEBC has done its job, tremendous job. We only have bad losers, people who never want to accept defeat, and they just want to use IEBC as scapegoat for their weaknesses. So what you're seeing in Kiamba, IEBC has conducted itself very, very well. But the people who have been trying to interfere with the elections, the likes of Kimunya and all that, are people from a party that does not have confidence in winning, and therefore will want to influence here and there. Of course, IEBC draws its personnel, the returning officers, the clerks, and all those other people from the people in Kiamba. Those people take sides sometimes, and they go into the job of IEBC clerk or a worker within IEBC with a set mind, and therefore they may want to use they may want to influence the election there. But the law, as it is.
And before we continue, because I'm being told we don't have a lot of time, what will it mean for President Uhuru Kenyatta if UDA carries the day in his own backyard? What are we telling the president? Don't you people in UDA think that it looks bad on your leader, because he was the leader of Jubilee, and until now I have not seen any member of parliament resigning from Jubilee Party. They're still part of Jubilee Party. What does this mean for the president?
Yes. It means that his goose is cooked. And I'll tell you, his goose is cooked. If he loses Kiamba, his goose is cooked. It shows that people are unhappy. One, people are unhappy about his association with the ODM leader, and they will punish him at the ballot. People are also unhappy about the way he's been conducting the affairs of state, and people will punish him at the ballot. It also means, therefore, that people are unhappy with the direction that he's taking this government and this country, and therefore people will punish him. So a loss for Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of the Republic of Kenya in Kiamba, shows the people of Kenya and the people of Kiamba are actually punishing their son, their president, for what they do not think, for what they see as not what they want him to run the affairs of the state. They also will be speaking very loudly to say that, Mr. President, we are not happy with the association that you have brought in with Raila, and we are not going to be part of the betrayal of the deputy president, because the people of Kiamba are reacting towards what is seen as a betrayal of a person that the president brought to them, told them that this person I trust, I want to work with him, and he promised him that when I'm done with my 5 years, I will hand over power to this man. And the people of Kiamba and the people of Central Kenya believed their president. And now he has turned around and is showing them someone else, and therefore the people of Kiamba will punish the president in this by-election.
Oh,
Tell him,
all right,
we are
Owen.
not happy with the way you're conducting the state.
Thank you so very much.
Affairs of state.
And thank you so very much. That is Owen Baya, MP Kilifi North. Now, Nurdin, before we close this conversation, Boaz, naona kama umenibia time bwana. Yawa. Nurdin,
Yeah.
what picture are we setting for the president? Are we saying that the president is now a lame duck if he's defeated? By the look of things, with what we have seen from IEBC, this is not the final tally. Those are the official figures, but of course, they were just starting to tally those figures. But what picture are we seeing from the president's backyard? What does it say of the president?
It says he's a general at war with no armor or ammunition. So he's at war, but with no ammunition. But the opponents are coming well loaded and are receiving more ammunition from even within his army. That's a sad reality. So he needs to have a recollection of himself, check those who are close to him, and actually listen to what Kenyans want more. Because at the end of the day, there's something Owen has said, but I never agree with.
Yeah.
That you vote for X to punish Y. Kiambu voted for Waititu to punish Kabogo. Who suffered? That is the wrong mentality. We should move away from that mentality. Now people are saying, let us vote for Ruto to punish
Uhuru.
He's never going to be punished because he'll go. You realize? So what if that vote...
He stands to lose nothing.
He loses nothing. He's in history as your president. Whether you hate him, you love him, it doesn't make sense. Whether he's left us in debt from here to Timbuktu, it doesn't make sense. You won't change history. It's the same thing as the United States. They can't change that Trump was their president. It's in history. So at the end of the day, that voting process is very important. So we should never vote to punish another individual.
It's
Now,
a wrong mentality.
it takes you nowhere. It's like, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. We're all going to be blind at the end of the day, you see. So for the president, if he loses, it means that he's naked, in that the intel or the information he gets from the kitchen cabinet is wrong, or they don't do their job. That means they have to go home. And Jubilee has...
Is there a backlash in the Kikuyu community, from the Kikuyu community, because this is in Kiambu?
Clearly, you remember Juja, they lost to a different candidate, So clearly there's something
Something amiss.
As they say, the mountain is rumbling. There's an issue, or rather there are issues. It's like I told you, a hungry man is an angry man. People are hungry, and they don't understand why things are getting worse. You wake up every day, there's a new tax here, there's a new tax there. Taxes you are paying, money that was looted, you never enjoyed. Nobody ever gave you that money that was looted, but you have to pay for it.
Wanatoa zaidi.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more or less like you're crippled, and I'm making it worse by chopping off the other leg.
Thank you so very much. That is Nurdin Kagai. We had Owen Baya. Richard Onyonka, the MP from Kitutu Chache, was just about to join us. I'm being told by my producer, Clifford Dumbi, but unfortunately, my director, Boaz, is telling me my time here in studio is over. Many thanks to Daniel Kariuki and the crew that is in Kiambaa. Many thanks to all our visitors tonight. That is Nurdin and Owen Baya. My name is Frederick Muitiriri. My sign language interpreters tonight are Michael Maida and Tracy Dorcas. Do have yourself a good night and take care. We'll be giving you the results of Kiambaa and Mugoga tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. Have yourself a good night.